Up next on WGXA News at 10, breaking news out of the Bibb Board of Education tonight as they approve a hotly contested budget and delay the start of school for the coming year. We have details on both.
Plus, if you were expecting a debate at tonight's mayoral forum, you may have been disappointed. We'll explain. In a pinch that goes across the board, how saving jobs at the Medical Center of Central Georgia comes at a cost for employees' vacation time.
Don't go away.
WGXA News at 10 is next.
Good evening, everyone. I'm WGXA's Chief Meteorologist Jeff Cox. Not a bad Thursday for Central Georgia, and tonight things are certainly different than they were 24 hours ago. Last night it was about severe weather and tracking damaging storms. Tonight, barely an ounce of rain on the radar. Central Georgia's dry. It's got one little shower there in East Alabama. We'll see what happens there. I don't expect all that much. For us, a dry night ahead with barely a few clouds towards our eastern counties. We're talking Johnson and Lawrence counties, also parts of Treutlen County as well. Mostly clear tonight after a mostly sunny afternoon. Certainly hot out there today as well. Tonight's still pretty warm. In fact, some spots still in the upper 70s and a select few in the low 80s. 78 in Macon, 77 in Warner Robins, low 80s once you get south of Warner Robins. Also holding on to 80 right now in Sandersville, 79 for Milledgeville, and 78 in Forsyth. Here's the rest of your night, hour by hour. And once you're in the 70s, you'll stay there all night. But look at the sharp climb. By 11 tomorrow, we're already in the mid-80s. Looks like a toasty day tomorrow. We'll talk about that, plus improving storm chances. All the details in 10 minutes. But the news starts right now.
Now, your source for local news. This is News Central on Fox 24.
Good evening and thanks for watching WGXA News at 10. I'm Raymond Tubb.
And I'm Tiffany Bradley. We begin tonight with breaking news out of the Bibb Board of Education meeting, where last hour board members approved a long-awaited budget.
The proposed budget has gone through nearly 13 different variations, but tonight the board unanimously agreed on option 12. This version of the budget will add back some previously cut positions and address some parents' concerns over class size.
We were able to add some monitors back, counsel for each one of the schools, and also to reduce the fund balance somewhat, about down 16 million versus 21. So I think we're a lot better off now than we were before.
The budget contains a contingency fund that can be used to hire as many as 20 teachers to deal with large class sizes.
Also new at 10, the summer break got a few days longer for Bibb County students after the BOE delayed the start of the coming school year. The decision was made a little after 6 this evening at tonight's school board meeting. Interim Superintendent Stephen Smith explains the change in plans was made to give teachers more planning time.
I believe that teachers that have adequate planning time to be better prepared for the start of the school are going to do a much better job.
Now, students will return to school on Monday, August 5th, reducing the total school year to 176 days. Also from tonight's school board meeting, Bibb County schools have received official notification of their reaccreditation today following the completion of the advanced external review. But due to changes with some of the system standards, the district's status is accredited worn, meaning the district has 2 years to address those concerns.
Macon chapter of the NAACP held a special mayoral forum tonight at Macon City Hall. All 6 registered candidates, Joe Allen, Charlie Bishop, David Casino, C. Jack Ellis, Sam Hart, and Robert Rickard attended. The forum was held not as a debate, but more as a meet and greet to let you know where the candidates stand on the different issues.
And it's important that each candidate be able to express where they plan to, how they plan to move the community forward.
Macon NAACP President Gwen Westbrook says her chapter plans to hold more mayoral forums as the September 17th election day draws closer. Tonight, in a story you'll only hear on WGXA News, workers at Bibb County's largest employer are feeling the first across-the-board pinch as Central Georgia Health Systems works to close a $13 million budget shortage. Today, CFO Rhonda Perry confirmed workers at the medical center and all other companies under the CGHS umbrella will not earn any new paid annual leave or PAL time during the next 6 pay periods. It means that most workers will lose from 2 to 3 vacation days, but it's estimated it will save the company $4.5 to $5 million. We spoke to several workers who told us while they aren't happy to lose vacation time, they realize it could help save jobs.
Definitely kind of hard to find a positive in taking something away that you're basically earning, I guess you could say. But when you look at it from what we talked about, saving some jobs, and they're definitely trying to save other ways.
The CFO says workers can still take time that they earned in the past, and there is a system in place for workers who are already short on leave and need emergency time off. The freeze officially runs July 21st through October the 13th. It will probably be mid-August before a full plan is announced to deal with the $13 million shortage. Central Georgia Health Systems employs between 4,500 and 5,000 workers.
Well, changes are coming to about 6,000 workers at Robins Air Force Base. Base officials say they're currently training to implement a new time and attendance system by next month for civilian employees. The automated time, attendance, and production system will replace the current manual process for keeping up with time and attendance. The goal is to have most employees on the system by the end of the fiscal year.
A new facility at Central Georgia Technical College promises to connect students with local businesses. A ribbon-cutting ceremony took place today for the school's new Geico Center for Professional Development. The center is built to provide high-quality, timely, and cost-effective workforce training. The school spokesperson says that business will be able to use the facility to train employees to use new computer software and other tasks. Geico Vice President Scott Markle says he is excited about that center.
In terms of how it'll impact businesses in the area, it's an open area. Obviously, you can see all the screens, the technology that's here that's available for meetings, for training sessions, just for anything that local business and development partners want to utilize it for.
A school spokesperson says the facility will mainly be used for one-time courses or once-a-week sessions. CGTC students will also be able to enroll in sessions at the center.
New at 10 tonight, a Houston County jury returns guilty verdicts for 2 people accused of murder in a so-called robbery gone wrong case. Tonight, Houston County District Attorney George Hartwig confirmed to WGXA that 30-year-old William Slayton and 28-year-old Matthew Pike were convicted of malice murder in the death of Justin Kalofka in April of last year. The pair was accused of killing Kalofka in fear he might tell police after a Houston County home invasion. Hartwig credits the work of his assistant DAs for today's convictions. Shortly after the verdict, the judge sentenced both men to life in prison without parole.
A fire ripped through a historic Jones County home, leaving 1 person dead and 2 others injured. WGXA's Chase Ambrose shows you what happened. The Central Georgia string of deadly fires continues.
An 80-year-old woman is dead and her 100-year-old house destroyed after a tragic fire in Gray. Jones County Fire Chief Don Graham tells WGXA the fire began just before 9:30 in the morning. When emergency crews arrived at the East Clinton Street home, they were told someone was trapped inside the blaze.
Our units at arrival went into a rescue operations, found a patient victim in the back bedroom. We exited with the subject. From there, the medical center paramedics took over then.
But it was too late. Graham says the victim was already in cardiac arrest as the firefighters took her out of the house. Once the house was clear, firefighters turned their attention to the blaze, but the age of the home made the fire more difficult to fight.
This is actually a over 100-year-old dwelling here. It's probably 90% fat lighter. I had 5 engine companies, probably 25 to 30 personnel on scene. And it took us about an hour to suppress the fire.
A firefighter and 1 other person suffered injuries and were taken to the medical center. The cause of the fire is not known and is being investigated by the state fire marshal's office. Chase Ambrose, WGXA.
The state fire marshal says 80-year-old Sarah Clement is the woman who died in that fire. They believe some food was left unattended on the stove. The fire marshal also says that they found no working smoke detectors in the home.
The longtime executive director of the Macon-Bibb County Economic Opportunity Council, Jimmy Samuel, has died. Bibb Coroner Leon Jones tells WGXA Samuel died earlier this afternoon from an undisclosed illness at a local hospital. Samuel served as the executive director of the EOC for more than 20 years and was able to provide opportunities for hundreds of low-income families. He'll be remembered for his efforts of bettering the greater Macon area community. Samuel was 64 years old.
Macon Morin's its late national water ski champion. 76-year-old Quentin Cotton died Tuesday. Cotton was a national water skiing champion who called Lake Tobosoffke home. Back in 2007, Cotton won first place in slalom skiing in his group at the National Water Skiing Championship Tournament and received second place in the overall competition. He began skiing when he was 17 years old. Cotton will be laid to rest Monday at Snow's Memorial Chapel on Cherry Street in downtown Macon at 11:30 in the morning. Well, coming up on WGXA News at 10, the Motor City officially hits the skids while making financial history it'd rather not make.
Plus, man versus shark, but this time humanity gets the upper hand. The video you just got to see to believe. But first, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Jeff Cox. Good evening, Jeff.
Hey, Tiffany, hope you've had a great day. It's been a hot one for central Georgia, and it looks like the mercury going to climb even more for Friday. Also climbing thunderstorm chances. We'll talk about that. We'll look at the 7-day. It's all coming up next.
Here's something you don't see every day. In Nantucket, Massachusetts, a man wrestling a shark to shore, and it's all caught on video. On Sunday, Elliot Sudall and his cousins were catching bluefish and noticed one had lost half of its body. So he threw it back into the water, hoping to lure the predator back in. And within minutes, Sudall had hooked a 7-foot-long shark. Then he jumped on the opportunity to wrestle it in. The fisherman finally got the fish onto the beach, posing for some photos before sending it back into the ocean eventually. This is not the first time the 24-year-old had a match with a shark. The Florida native estimates he's caught more than 100 sharks just in the past 8 months.
Has he not seen Jaws? I don't think so. It doesn't sound like a good plan to me. I'll leave them out in the ocean. I think so. They're bigger than me, right? High pressure and control. That's the setup, my friends. It was hot today, and notice that reduced storm chance as well. It was a nice break from recent weather, especially last night when we had that severe weather. In the upper levels of the atmosphere, we really have two centers of high pressure, one on the east coast in the mid-Atlantic and one out west over Salt Lake City. And that's where we'll find the hottest weather underneath that ridge of high pressure and also the absence of clouds and storm threat today. Here's the national picture, and notice underneath the highs, things are pretty benign. We've got some mountains mountain-induced storms in parts of Colorado, but nothing to write home about. But all the active weather is going to be on the outer edges of the high's influence, and that's what we're seeing tonight. As far as the temperatures, again, underneath that high, that's where you've got 80s and even a 90 in St. Louis tonight, 96 in Salt Lake City. A little misleading here. You know, you've got the higher elevations of the Rockies there. So even tonight, a 73 in Denver is pretty warm when you compare that to Macon. The elevation difference there, a mile high, and they're only 5 degrees cooler than we are. So that really puts it into perspective. This high pressure is going to start weakening, though, and that's going to allow storm chances to return to central Georgia. So let's show you our high temperature map today. Made it to 89 in Macon. That's still below average. Of course, the humidity made it feel much hotter than that. You made it to 90 in Dublin. All the low and mid 90s were in South Georgia this afternoon. Our current map locally showing a 78 for North and South Macon, a degree shy of that in downtown, and 77 on the map also for Robins Air Force Base. Still some 80 pluses out there, though. Sandersville, you're holding on to 80, and once you get south of Warner Robins, low 80s are still the theme tonight. It's double 7s in Dublin, 79 Milledgeville, and 78 right now in Forsyth. Your temperature forecast as we look ahead to Friday. Once you make it to the 70s, you're going to hold steady there all night long. So first thing in the morning, waking up to the low 70s, and by the afternoon tomorrow, it looks hotter than today. Looks like many of us will make it above that 90-degree mark. The humidity will still be there, so it's going to feel more like the upper 90s and even triple digits in places. So bottom line, don't plan on the low 90s, plan on the upper 90s for that feels like number, because that's what your body interprets from the heat and humidity. So light color clothing, plenty of sunscreen and sunglasses, and at all times have you a cold glass of water available so you can stay hydrated, because it's certainly going to be toasty out there. The AC definitely going to get a workout. Satellite picture showing a few clouds from Sandersville to Wrightsville to Dublin down to Soperton tonight, but all of that is exiting the region, looking like a really clear sky over central Georgia tonight. Here's your first look ahead. First thing in the morning around 7, a mostly sunny sky, but watch what happens as we go into the afternoon. We'll start to see some green pop up, especially the further south and east of Macon you are. Now, it looks like the instability and the unsettled pattern really gets going for the weekend, so looking like a good round of showers and storms for your Saturday afternoon, and really the same goes into Sunday also. So an unsettled weekend, certainly not as nice as what we had today. With the heat and humidity and the thunderstorm chance, you may want to have an alternate plan for any outdoor plans you have planned for the weekend. And looking long term, the heat and humidity sticking around and the storm chances continue to rise each and every day. So here it is on the 7-day. Put it all together for you. 92 tomorrow, a storm or two certainly possible. Maybe a lucky few in the upper 80s on Saturday, but generally it's a low 90s forecast. Storm chances ramping up day by day, and it looks like the heat may ramp up middle of next week. That 92 and 93 next week. Well, some indications may be saying that's not hot enough, Jeff. We'll have to watch that over the next few days. See your Facebook page, new titles, same information, bottom left corner, WGXA.TV. Make sure to like it now for all of your automated weather alerts. Fish and game forecast for you. We've got a peak near the excellent range at 11:20 a.m. Also 6 tomorrow evening and around midnight tomorrow night. So no shortage of heat and humidity, and as long as we've got all that soggy ground out there, the humidity is not going anywhere anytime soon. Storm chances are going up as well, so keep the umbrella handy.
It was hot today.
It was, you know, but it didn't shy people away from coming out to Forsyth. We got to give a big thanks again this month to Central Georgia for making WGXA's Drive Away Hunger food drive a huge success again today. We've got the video to prove it. People stopping by all afternoon at the Walmart in Forsyth, dropping off canned goods and cash donations, hoping to help end hunger in Central Georgia. The Middle Georgia Community Food Bank ships out over 30,000 pounds of food on an average day. The need here in this region, it's absolutely enormous. Thanks again to everyone for their donations this afternoon. And of course, stay tuned to WGXA for details on next month's Drive Away Hunger food drive. So again, thanks to the folks up in Forsyth and Monroe County for turning out. And over the next couple of weeks, we'll nail down the plans for next month. So keep it tuned to WGXA.
All right.
Sounds great. Well, coming up after the break here, Trayvon Martin's parents break their silence after the verdict in the George Zimmerman trial.
And later, from slimy to silky smooth, find out why people are putting snails on their face. Would you believe it's to look better? Don't go away. That and more when WGXA News at 10 returns. Motor City tries putting the brakes on its downward spiral by declaring Chapter 9 bankruptcy. As Fox's Mike Tobin reports, Detroit's bankruptcy is the largest municipal financial failure in U.S. history.
Detroit is now bankrupt. It's the largest municipal filing in American history. Emergency Manager Kevin Orr filing for Chapter 9 protection on behalf of the entire city, citing mounting debt, unfunded liabilities, and a shrinking tax base.
This is really about the first step in starting this city towards a course of restoring goods and services, health, safety, and welfare for the city, and growing the city.
The once proud Motor City has struggled in recent years as the auto industry declined. Businesses left, and jobs are hard to come by. Detroit went from a population of close to 2 million in the 50s to around 700,000 today. But Mayor Dave Bing says they may be down, but they're not out.
This is very difficult for all of us, but if it's going to make the citizens better off, then this is a new start for us.
The White House also standing by Detroit, saying in a statement, while leaders on the ground in Michigan and the city's creditors understand that they must find a solution to Detroit's serious financial challenge, we remain committed to continuing our strong partnership with Detroit as it works to recover and revitalize and maintain its status as one of America's great cities. But finding a way out of the hole won't be easy.
This is a situation that's been a period of decline of 60 years in Detroit, and it's resulted in $18 billion of debt.
The good news is that at least one of Detroit's signature businesses is staying put for now. General Motors saying Detroit is still their home and that bankruptcy could be a fresh start for the Motor City. In Chicago, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
We've heard from the jurors as well as the Zimmerman family. But now, for the first time since the not guilty verdict for George Zimmerman, the parents of Trayvon Martin are speaking out about the jury. Tracy Martin and Sabrina Fulton saying that they are both disgusted and devastated with the jurors dismissing Zimmerman in the shooting death of their son.
It was on one of the television programs, and my first thought was shock, disgust. I really didn't believe that he was not guilty.
The system, will you be filing a civil suit?
Well, we're going to look at all legal possibilities, but right now we're asking the Department of Justice to look at this matter because Trayvon was simply walking home and his killer profiled him and followed him. So we need to know, what is the law? Is it allowed that anybody can profile and follow you? Not even the police, based on the U.S. Supreme Court decision, can profile based on race. So are we going to allow private citizens with guns to do so? We need to know, because we need to know what to tell our children.
Attorney General Eric Holder says the government is examining whether Zimmerman violated federal civil rights laws.
More Zimmerman verdict fallout, this time from the son of civil rights leader Martin Luther King, calling on Americans to boycott Florida orange juice until the state repeals the Stand Your Ground law.
I mean, we may have to look at not consuming Florida orange juice. The true way, generally, when people don't understand your plight, is when you decide to exercise your buying power elsewhere.
In addition to King's proposed juice boycott, singer Stevie Wonder says he won't perform in Florida until the state's Stand Your Ground law is abolished.
New at 10, an unexpected development in the trial against reputed Boston mobster Whitey Bulger. A man expected to testify against the accused was found dead earlier today. The body found along a road in Lincoln, Massachusetts is believed to be that of Stephen Stippo Rakes. An autopsy is being conducted and officers say there were no obvious signs of trauma. Rakes had claimed Bulger and his associates strong-armed him into selling his liquor store. Bulger is facing charges for playing a role in 19 killings, while the leader of South Boston's so-called Winter Hill Gang.
While most students have the summer off, a bipartisan group of senators struck a deal today to lower student loan rates. Fox News' Steve Santani has more from Washington.
It's a rare moment of bipartisan agreement, a group of senators reaching across the aisle to make a deal they say will lower rates for students who borrow from the federal government.
This deal will benefit many students by reducing interest rates they'll pay now to below current rates and protect them from interest rates in the future, which may skyrocket, by creating caps.
There are 11 million students headed for college who are borrowing money
from the federal government. They're thinking about how to pay the bill. And for every one of them, the interest rates on their loans will be lower.
The deal reached after rates doubled on July 1st links all new student loans to Treasury borrowing rates, which means most undergrads will be paying around 3.86% on loans taken out this year. The bill also includes a cap to make sure interest rates never go above 8.25%. The White House supporting the deal. Press Secretary Jay Carney linking student loan rates to deficit reduction after the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office issued a report saying the bill will save taxpayers over $700 million in the next 10 years.
You could do this in a deficit-neutral way. You can ensure that these rates stayed low and that families across the country were still afforded the opportunity to have access to these loans at rates that put college within reach.
But some progressive groups say they're not happy with the deal. They point out the rates are tied to market rates, which means they're likely to rise in the next few years. A vote on the bill expected this week. In Washington, Steve Santani, Fox News.
Still to come here on WGXA News at 10 o'clock. The show must go on, but the cast of Fox's hit show Glee is taking a short break. We'll explain why. And the primetime Emmy nominations are out today, and one of Macon's own made the cut. We've got a list coming up in just a few minutes. There's a trashy situation in Hancock County. Many of the people that live there say they are livid over their less than sanitary dump sites.
Not only do some people see them as an eyesore, but others say it's bad for business. WGXA's Kristen Drummond has the details in the county's plan to clean it up.
Very embarrassing, and then when you got a lot of people that comes up here and dumpster dives,
it makes me angry.
Hancock County residents want their dumpster sites to change now.
We pay the county to do this, through our taxes, and they don't provide trash care for us.
Not only does Andrew Nord find it unsightly with trash overflowing from the bins and scattered on the ground, but for business owner Sandy Webb, this site on East Lake Sinclair Road is bad for her cafe some 200 yards away.
Just runs our customers away. They don't want to sit there and eat, and you have to have a fly swatter to, flat flies.
And it's not just here. Roughly 5 miles down the road, a Stray dogs sift through this dump site that's not only littered with garbage, but household furnishings, despite being clearly noted it's illegal.
Can't even get to the dumpsters without stepping on garbage, or you don't even know if you're going to step on a board with a nail in it because there's no designated bins to put anything in.
And Commission Chairperson Sisti Hudson agreed.
They're perfectly horrible. They really are.
Hudson says Advanced Disposal manages the 68 dumpsters at different sites in the county. She knows the trash pileup is bad and attributes some of the mess to people not living in Hancock.
Our neighboring counties have either shut down sites. Even the fellow from Advanced says he can see that the volume has increased over here. So we're getting a lot of out-of-county trash.
Out of the 10 dumpster sites here in Hancock County, this is the only one gated, graveled, and manned 7 days a week. And Hancock County commissioners say they plan to have sites like this in the future.
Our real goal is to eliminate these sites and create permanent manned fenced gravel sites.
It's in the works, but for residents who visit these dump areas, they want something done now until the permanent sites are established.
They need it to be moved or it needed to be stayed clean.
Instead of coming out once a week, maybe come out twice a week.
Kristen Drummond, WGXA.
The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office is using social media to warn neighbors about the outbreak of daytime burglaries. Take a look at this recent post on the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, asking the public to be nosy neighbors and report anything they see suspicious. Deputies say summer daytime burglaries have started up again as they did last year. They're asking residents to notify them or call 911 if they notice anything suspicious.
Well, if you're one of those people that's kind of tempted by some of those get-rich schemes, the Better Business Bureau has some tips for you. Here's some red flags to help identify possible scams. If the host says that no experience or training is necessary, or if the opportunity is only available for a limited time. Also, if they say it's a sure thing. And the Better Business Bureau also says you need to be wary if there are few or no local people endorsing the program.
I'll go back to the old saying that we've always heard, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And in those situations, it is. It's too good to be true.
Collins adds to take your time to make your decision after hearing a pitch at a seminar. Don't fall for that high-pressure sales technique.
Atlanta area police released the shocking dash cam video of a deadly wrong-way police chase. The driver fled police, reaching speeds of over 100 miles per hour until he slammed head-on into an unsuspecting driver. Fox's Doug Evans has that story.
It started as a normal traffic stop, but soon the officer is alerted that the Nissan Maxima is stolen, and the chase is on and incredibly dangerous. At times, driver Jeremy Kelly is driving more than 80 miles an hour the wrong way through busy intersections in Gwinnett County. Then minutes later, the police video shows Kelly's speed at over 100 miles an hour as he rips past oncoming traffic, again in the wrong lane.
It's exceedingly dangerous to the public, so, we have to make every effort to get them stopped, so they won't, make it worse.
And unfortunately, worse is what happens. As the Maxima nears Peachtree Crest, an SUV with headlights on sees the Maxima, swerves to the right, Kelly swerves to his left, and the vehicles hit head-on. We've decided not to show you the impact, but the aftermath is violent enough. With Kelly dead in his vehicle and Dawn Smith trapped in her burning SUV, Duluth officers remove the 49-year-old through a window and carry her to safety. They also rescue her small dog, who survived the impact and has its teeth buried in the officer's hand as he carries it to safety. The reason why police were chasing Kelly's car is that the officer had one of those electronic license plate readers, and when Kelly's car went by, it alerted the officer that that car was reported stolen. Duluth officers actually crawled inside Smith's burning SUV.
So the officers actually went inside the vehicle, putting themselves at great risk, to extricate her and get her out so she would be safe.
Police say they're no closer to finding out why Kelly ran in the first place, other than the fact that the car was stolen. In Duluth, Doug Evans, Fox 5 News.
New at 10, the body of a Georgia hiker has been found near the top of an 11,000-foot summit in Yellowstone National Park. Park officials identify the 23-year-old as Joseph Parker of Valdosta. Parker was reported missing late last night, hours after he told friends he was coming down the mountain due to a lightning storm. His body was found below the summit called Electric Peak. The cause of death is under investigation.
Family and friends of an Atlanta area woman are mourning her death. Jenny Pomeroy died this week after an allergic reaction to a fire ant sting. Diana Davis has the story.
She was in ICU for several days, and
just didn't work out.
Jenny Pomeroy, a wife, mother, and grandmother, died from the sting of a fire ant. She was relaxing at the pool of her Buckhead townhome late last week.
This is just so hard to believe and so unexpected.
Pomeroy worked for Prevent Blindness Georgia for 17 years. Her co-workers say she knew she was allergic to fire ants and had been hospitalized 20 years ago from another sting.
Jenny knew that she was allergic to fire ants and was always very aware of her surroundings.
In most people, fire ant stings only cause red welts, itching, and swelling. But in those allergic, that sting can cause an immediate and sometimes deadly reaction, like the one that killed Pomeroy. Though EpiPens can prevent anaphylactic shock after a sting, an allergy specialist told me a series of allergy shots can prevent allergic emergencies.
A lot of patients and doctors do not know that fire ant allergy can be cured with allergy shots. Someone can take allergy shots and within a very short amount of time be desensitized to the fire ant and prevent a serious reaction from ever occurring.
Bait available at any hardware or home improvement store can kill fire ants. But the ants are so common in Georgia and the Southeast, you've got to keep your eyes open. In the allergic, it can take only one bite to kill. And if you are allergic, the older you get, the more likely you are to die from the sting of a fire ant. Jenny Pomeroy was 65. Wednesday, her condo homeowners association sent an email to residents explaining what happened and expressing sorrow. Her friends and family are still coping with their loss.
It's a real shock.
And we have more details on the warning signs that you might be allergic to fire ant bites. The CDC says look out for vomiting, dizziness, disorientation, and wheezing. Officials say that if you experience severe chest pain, nausea, severe sweating, or slurred speech, you need to get to a hospital right away.
Up next on WGXA News at 10, Central Georgia wasn't the only one hit with severe weather last night. Some Atlanta neighbors were glad to see the calm after the storm.
And alligators and turtles all in a matter of a day. We are almost afraid to see what's next for South Georgia's swimming pool. Don't go away. We'll be right back after the break.
Check, check. How much? Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, yeah. What? Backpack what? God, I hated it. It's stupid to have to, like, y'all cue me. I have to start talking, but I can still hear the anchors talking. And so I didn't have a clue what y'all were going to toss with, and I didn't know if what I was saying even made sense because, yeah. So it just was, but it's distracting too. Because we couldn't get a signal there. Say what? Right. Well, they won't get Perry one. I've tried. I mean, I'm like, Perry, you need an IFB. But, I mean, Mitchell was dialed in on his phone, cueing Perry, but it's just, I just felt like we were going back in time. Yeah, Mitchell was dialed in on the second IFB line.
While Central Georgia had its share of severe weather last night, that same storm cell smacked parts of Atlanta as well. Sent trees crashing onto a home in one neighborhood. Fox's Justin Gray has more on the damage there.
Oh, wow. My heart is still rapidly racing because of that incredible sound.
You can see what this tree did to Brenda Gibson's West End home and crashed down, destroying most of the front section of the house with Gibson and her roommate inside.
And the wind picked up and I just grabbed my dog and ran to the basement because it seemed to have been getting worse.
Just a short distance away, another large tree crashed into the kids' room of this Cascade Avenue home with these 3 girls inside.
It was just a loud noise, like boom, and it just fell.
I was playing dollhouse and I was trying to get the other doll, and then the stuff, it just fell on me and on my arms, and then I had hurried up and ran down the stairs.
The girls suffered some bumps and bruises, but no serious injuries. Nobody was hurt at Brenda Gibson's home either, since they took cover in the basement as the storm just got worse and worse.
The sideways rain and the hail and the lightning and just a combination of things that were going on at one time.
Yeah, we had some scary storms last night here in central Georgia as well. Several warnings and several reports of damage. We had trees down in Washington County, also Baldwin and Wilkinson counties, and here in Macon and Bibb County as well, and hundreds without power last night. Thankfully, today was much calmer. In fact, a real nice day. It was hot. You look at this map, and it really doesn't say hot, especially by mid-July standards. We made it to 89 in Macon, made it to 90 in Dublin. It's below average, but you've got to factor in that humidity, and that humidity made it feel more like the upper 90s and triple digits at times, and that's what you've got to plan on for tomorrow as well. We've got to get through tonight first. Here's your latest temperature map for Bibb and Houston counties. It's 76 in North and Macon and downtown. It's 78 still in the south end of town, and double sevens on Robbins Air Force Base. Still, let's see, 81 right now in Wrightsville. The folks in Johnson County have actually ticked up a couple of degrees. But Sandersville, you're now sub 80, and all areas south of Warner Robins now under 80 degrees as well. So generally 70s out there tonight, and once you're there, you're pretty much going to stay there all night long. We look ahead to Friday morning with your temperature forecast and notice the low to mid 70s to start your day. And by tomorrow afternoon, look for low 90s. This is much closer to average, still a shade below for this time of year. But again, you factor in that humidity, and it's going to feel more like the upper 90s and triple digits at times. So that's what you need to plan on for tomorrow afternoon. So they beat the heat tips, light colored clothing, sunscreen, sunglasses. Cold, something to drink. Just keep it cold because keep you hydrated. If at all possible, just stay indoors and enjoy the AC. That's going to be your best advice for beating the type of heat. And I'll point this out. We had this conversation at the station yesterday. Okay, 92 in mid-July, what's the big deal? We're still adjusting to this type of heat. It's been a cold year, generally speaking, for central Georgia. We've not had too many days this hot, and so we're still adjusting. So I think that's why it's still important to work on beating the heat the best you can. Satellite picture tonight. It's a mostly clear sky. A few clouds off to the east from Wilkinson County, points east, so from Sandersville to Wrightsville to Dublin down to Soperton, but generally things are really nice around central Georgia. First look ahead in the morning, plenty of sunshine to start the day. That'll warm things up fast, mid-80s by lunchtime. By the afternoon, 1 or 2 showers certainly likely, especially down I-16 along the coastal plain. As we get into Saturday, that's when our rain chances really start to ramp up. Could be a little heavy at times with some scattered afternoon showers and thunderstorms, and the same goes for Sunday as well. So we're starting to get back into that unsettled trend as we go into the weekend, and unfortunately that trend will continue on into next week. The reason why, our jet stream, well, we've got the big ridge of high pressure in place right now, but as we go into the weekend, here comes our trough, and that's what gave us that soggy pattern for the last month. Well, it's coming back, and that means continued storm chances on through next week. So here it is on the 7-day. So we zoom you out a week from today. 92 tomorrow, a storm or two, briefly in the upper 80s for a select few Saturday, but back to the 90s for next week. And even hotter Wednesday and Thursday, 92 and 93 by the middle of next week. WGXA.TV. Like us on Facebook now. Fish and game forecast for you, 11:20 a.m., 6 p.m., and midnight tomorrow night. That's in or near the excellent range there for all 3 peaks. So not a bad fish and game forecast. And I would say by mid-July standards, not a bad 7-day either. Low 90s. Again, the humidity's the culprit. We'll have to deal with that for many days, I think.
All right.
Well, coming up, how to hear your favorite American Idol sing in person. The tour dates are coming up after the break.
And ladies, we all know smooth skin is a priority, but these women are taking the skin pampering to another level. You got to get a little slimy before silky smooth. We'll explain. Snail mucus slithering its way to be the next top beauty secret in Japan. A salon in Tokyo says live snails are great for your skin. In fact, they're rolling out a new facial based on snail slime. Beauticians say the mucus works great to remove dry patches, hydrating and moisturizing the skin. The salon has a team of 5 one-year-old Japanese native snails, and they only have enough mucus to serve a single customer each day. When the snails are not on duty, they live in a humid, temperature-controlled environment and dine on high-grade vegetables. The snail slime doesn't come at a cheap price. Treatments cost $105.
Well, a pair of Georgia sisters are wondering what's next. The day after an alligator was found in their pool, a turtle shows up. Watch this.
Let me go to the other side and get him.
It's becoming a daily routine for these sisters.
Turtle on the run, turtle on the run.
Yesterday, they woke up to an alligator in their swimming pool on White Pond Road. Today, a turtle showed up.
So in the morning, we don't know what we're going to find.
Now I'm getting afraid to go out and get the newspaper because I never know what I'm going to find.
After failed attempts to get the turtle out, in came animal control to save the day.
He's in the deep side there. How deep is it?
I think
11 good, 11.
Okay, this pole ain't going to get down there.
But it proved a tough job, even for the professionals.
My alligator was easier.
Oh, he's going. Almost.
Eventually, the turtle was defeated, and animal control reigned victorious.
We may have to hook you up permanently on speed dial.
Okay.
Even the neighbor's dogs joined in.
Over at, is everything okay over here? Besides my dog? Oh, there's a turtle in there?
Yeah, big turtle.
All right, let me see.
We had a gator yesterday.
You didn't. So what keeps the critters coming?
All I can think of is they're coming up for a little more water and getting in my pool.
And what's next?
My sister enjoys this pool, but I don't think she's going to get in anymore.
At least not before she leaves.
Well, the show must go on, but today, Glee producers announced they're putting the show on a 2-week hiatus while they figure out what to do with Corey Monteith's upcoming storyline. Last weekend's sudden death of Monteith also means the abrupt disappearance of his character Finn. According to In Touch magazine, producers say they need 2 weeks to rewrite what a source is calling Finn's massive storyline. Filming had originally been scheduled to begin at the end of July, with the premiere of Season 5 slated for September. The 31-year-old actor was found dead in a Vancouver hotel room Sunday morning. The coroner's office there later ruling his death an accidental overdose, saying he died from an overdose of heroin and alcohol.
Nominations for the 65th Primetime Emmy Awards were announced this morning in Los Angeles. Breaking Bad, Downton Abbey, Game of Thrones, House of Cards, and Homeland, along with Mad Men, were nominated for the Best Drama. Nominees for the Best Comedy are 30 Rock, The Big Bang Theory, Modern Family, Louie, Girls, and Veep. The Netflix series House of Cards and Arrested Development both made Emmy history as the first online series to be nominated. House of Cards scored 9 nominations, including Kevin Spacey and Robin Wright in the lead actor categories. The Emmys are scheduled to be handed out on September 22nd. And one of Central Georgia's own is among those nominated today for a Primetime Emmy. Carrie Preston is a Macon native and has made a name for herself on True Blood. She's nominated for Best Actress in a Drama. Congratulations to her.
This year's top American Idol contenders are ready to kick off a 30-city summer tour. Fox's Adam Housley talks with the singers about what it's like to perform for thousands every night.
This year's American Idol Top 11 are ready to kick off their 30-city live tour, performing hits for thousands of fans.
Everyone's there to support you, and they paid money to come see us perform, so it's really exciting. Lots of dancing, a lot more than we thought there was going to be. There's definitely a lot more going on, a lot more backing up, and just a lot of really fun numbers.
Expect a lot of excitement and fun things that they can join in with us, a lot of connection.
Taking to the road on tour buses will also be a new experience for the Idols, who'll need to get some much-needed shut-eye while on the move.
I'm the kind of person that passes out in car rides and airplane rides.
I hear that I snore, but I don't know.
When I get really tired, I snore. So
I only snore when I'm like super tired, and I've been really tired since the show ended, so it'll probably be me.
And who would these guys like to see as season 13 auditions begin with still no seats filled at the judges' table?
I hope to see someone who's been on the show before, a past idol on the show. I've heard rumors about Jennifer Hudson, and I think that'd be awesome. I would love to see Justin Timberlake as a judge because I think that he's a Tennessee boy, so I'm rooting for him in general.
I've been telling everybody, why not me? Why not some of the crew that was here this year, you know, because we just went through it.
In Hollywood, Adam Housley, Fox News.
Well, up next on WGXA, a group of sharks gearing up to attack the basketball court, and they aren't letting anything get in their way. That's on the other side of the break. Disabilities aren't keeping Middle Georgia teens off of the basketball court this summer. The Houston County Sharks wheelchair basketball camp kicked off this morning at Perry Middle School. The camp is for athletes ages 12 to 19 years old who qualify to participate in adaptive sports programs like wheelchair basketball. The camp is led by University of Missouri head wheelchair basketball coach and current U.S. men's national team coach Ron Likens.
What I hope they get out of this week is that they learn what some of the basic fundamental skills are and they improve on those, and that they realize that this is a process. They're not going to do things right the very first time they do it. They need to work hard, keep practicing it, not worry what the results are.
The four-day camp focuses on individual skills and team strategies. Players also get to participate in controlled scrimmages along with some games.
That's a good.
I tell you, they don't mess around down there.
No.
They are a competitive team. They get going when they play the games, and they're good, too.
They would beat you.
They would totally beat me, totally beat me. Wheelchair or no wheelchair, they've got me covered. So 7-day, we've got you covered there. Quick look at it. Scattered storms the next few days, ramping up each day. Highs in the low 90s, even hotter next week. We'll be tracking that storm threat closely tomorrow.
All right.
Well, thank you for watching us tonight.
We invite you to join Rick, Linnea, and Felicia for WGXA Morning News beginning at 7 a.m.